The results that you want in life don't require motivation. They require discipline. And so what I'm here to tell you is that you need to forget about motivation. This is a different style of video that I typically record, so bear with me. I'm just trying out something new. Also, this is the start of a brand new podcast, the Mastery Reps podcast. I'm keeping the name sort of on brand, kind of how I have the Mastery Reps newsletter and then I have the Mastery Reps podcast. This is episode 1 of the Mastery Reps podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy. With that being said, let's get into the episode. You shouldn't wait for motivation to hit in order for you to act. And the reason why I say that is because I know a lot of people tend to wait for motivation to strike. They tend to wait for motivation so that they could then start the process of making stuff happen. And so when you think of your dreams, you think of these goals that you have. The purpose is to act on them as soon as you possibly can. It isn't about just being motivated. However, yes, as soon as you start thinking of these goals and you start thinking of what they look like, you start having desires, and those desires lead to motivation. And yes, motivation could last a couple days possibly, but then after that is done, what do you have left? Motivation doesn't fuel your next decision. Your next decision is fueled by discipline. Discipline is what keeps you moving. Discipline relies on consistent effort. If you do not put in consistent effort, then your discipline will not do you any good. Yes, you will have days where you will show up and you won't get a lot of stuff done. I mean, it happens. We're not robots. You're going to have days where you're only going to show up 1% as opposed to other days where you might show up 50, maybe even at 100%. It happens. But the act of showing up is what keeps the consistency going, which leads to a consistent effort that when you look at it from a year-long basis, you see that, yeah, the effort was put in consistently enough to where the average is pretty solid. So you want to be able to show up at least for a little bit every single day so that that zero doesn't bring you down heavily. I don't know how many of y'all are in school or if y'all remember how grades worked, but if you ever asked your teachers how grades worked, you could have a bunch of hundreds throughout your class, but as soon as you get one motherfucking zero, it fucks up your grade horrendously. And so it's kind of the same thing when it comes to building good habits and practicing self-improvement, is that what you want to do at the end of the day, every single day, is to at least show up for some amount. Whether it's a slight amount or a huge amount, it's showing up nonetheless. It's effort nonetheless, which is better than doing nothing at all. And those moments are created through discipline. Because after 10 days, 100 days, you're not really going to have motivation. There's going to be moments scattered throughout your life where you're going to be motivated. And that's great. I mean, it's great if you can find these little pools of motivation that you can dive into throughout your journey. However, don't allow your journey to be dictated by motivation. Have your journey be dictated by the discipline that you chose to have. Choose to work on discipline. And the best way I can tell you to do this as a beginner, well, I'm not a beginner, but if you are a beginner, the best thing I can tell you is to practice Atomic Habits, practice small habits. And I have the book right here and I just finished reading it. And yes, I have been practicing Atomic Habits even before I read this book, but just reading it, a lot of the things were solidified from what I was practicing, the things that I thought, the things that I was preaching. On top of that, the explanations in this book were great. I'll probably do a video around Atomic Habits, a probably better structured video as opposed to just me talking to the camera and trying out something new, right? Also, on top of everything, I do want to tell you, when it comes to discipline as well, don't be afraid to try new things. And this is for you trying to achieve success. There will be moments where you don't know what you're doing, or you might not be too sure on what you're doing. You might think too much about what somebody else may think, and you're too worried about the things that somebody else might say about you. But I'm here to tell you, fuck them. Screw what other people may think, especially the people that you don't want to be like, because at the end of the day, they don't know what you're trying to do, and they don't know what you're aiming to be. They're also not you, and your life is not their life. Don't allow their words to dictate what you choose to do with yourself. Now, again, Atomic Habits. When it comes to discipline, a lot of people struggle because they want to do things that they've never done before to a high intensity or a high level when they haven't done so to begin with. An example would be when the 3 a.m. motivation hits and you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., do 100 push ups, go on a 2-mile run, and then do a 30-minute lifting session. That's not going to happen. And I'm sorry to tell you, but if you just were on the couch for the past 6 months, or you're a professional doom scroller and gamer and you haven't really done much, I'm here to tell you those 100 push-ups won't be done. That 2-mile run will not be done. That workout will not be done. That 5 a.m. waking up will not be done. If you wake up 7, 8, 9, 10 a.m., but you want to wake up at 5, that's not going to happen. It might happen for a day, and it might happen for 2. Hell, it might even happen for a week. I want to see you keep that up for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then keep it up for another 3 months, and then keep it up for the rest of your life. It won't happen. I'm here to tell you that. But the thing is, you're doing too much to begin with. It takes small changes from where you are now for you to truly make progress on a long enough basis, a long enough term. And so those small changes will start as, once again, small changes, and as time progresses, you'll add on to them. What that would look like, for example, if you get that 3 a.m. motivation, more than likely you might still be in school. So let's say you have to wake up to catch the bus at 6 a.m., right? And you typically wake up 5:50. We can start by waking up 5:45. And the first 5 minutes, rep out 1 push-up. And that's it. That's the biggest change you'll make then. And then when you come back from school, make the change of, instead of playing video games for 5 hours or 3 hours, make the change to where you reduce the amount of time that you play video games, 30 minutes. Let's say 30 minutes to make it easy. And replace those 30 minutes either with reading in order to improve knowledge, to study for your classes, or to build something, whether it's some creative project that you have, or if you want to build a brand or build a business, and or maybe even start content creation. Make those small changes that you know are possible to do on a daily basis. And even if it takes you 3 weeks to stack more on top of those small changes, let those 3 weeks take however long you need to take to make that happen. If it's 3 weeks of every day you showing up but only doing 1 push-up, at the end of the day, that's 7, 14, 21 push-ups that you would have never done to begin with. After those 21 days, then you can start adding on another push-up, maybe even 2, maybe even 3. The goal of it is to be disciplined enough to where you show up every single day and you no longer rely on motivation to get you started. What you simply do is build the habits throughout the day, throughout your life, really. You build small habits that over time you'll grow on, you'll stack on, and you'll compound throughout your lifestyle, so that eventually over a long enough horizon, you see the change that it made for you. And something that I learned heavily on this, which has really stuck onto me, and I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Here we are, page 17 of Atomic Habits. It says here, the impact created by a change in your habits is similar to the effect of shifting the route of an airplane by just a few degrees. Imagine you are flying from Los Angeles to New York City. If a pilot leaving from LAX at just the heading just 3.5 degrees south, you will land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. And so what it says after that is, such a small change is barely noticeable at takeoff. The nose of the airplane moves just a few feet, but when magnified across the entire United States, you end up hundreds of miles apart. And so again, what I'm saying is that you have to show up every single day and make some level of change from where you first started, so that eventually over time it builds up. You build up wins, you build up consistency, you build up discipline, and over a long enough horizon, those small, possibly seemingly insignificant changes become very significant. Reason why is because they ended up changing your life. by 30 days of only doing one push-up, you're doing 30 push-ups more than the person who you were before. And there's a lot of people that don't even start doing push-ups. You might see small changes in your body after 2-3 months, but guess what? By the second month, you're probably doing 2 or 3 push-ups because you realize, hey, this is easy. If I'm already making such great changes to my lifestyle by just making these 3 small improvements, imagine what I can do by doing 45 minutes of building, waking up 10 minutes earlier, and doing 5 push-ups every single day. And so you start thinking about making improvements. You start thinking about the bigger goals, the better outcomes that you have for yourself, the desirable goals that you have. And those desirable results that you have in your brain, you start realizing that, hey, the decisions that I have to make for that are the exact same ones that I started making with these small changes, only that they're a level amplified. So instead of, hey, just one push up a day, it changes eventually to, how about I go to the gym for 30 minutes and I do my push up there, but while I'm at it, I might as well get a workout in because I'm already at the gym. And then that could amplify to, you know what, let me start making content. I want to make extra money on the side. Let me start making content. And I'm not here to tell you, excuse me, I'm not here to tell you to make content, right? If you want to make content, that's great. A lot of people want to do that. But look, a lot of people don't want to do that either. What I'm here to tell you is that you're going to have dreams. You're going to have careers that you want to chase. You're going to have a lot of things that you're going to want to do. Don't be afraid to get after it. Don't be afraid of your dreams. Your dreams may seem scary and they may seem extremely far-fetched at times, but they're possible. It just requires a lot more work than you think, but not as much work as you imagine. Just make sure that you show up. And if you're starting from zero, 1% improvement is a lot better than nothing at all. Focus on just doing more than who you were before. And progressively over time, you'll start doing better than who you were yesterday. So if yesterday you were bed rotting on the couch entirely, and then tomorrow you choose to stand up and walk for 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes of improvement. The next day you'll do 10 minutes and jump once. That's 10 minutes in the jump. That's extra cardio. The next day you'll do 20 minutes of walking. And you might start looking at, okay, how can I improve my diet? Like, you'll make these slight changes that will improve your life. So don't focus too much on getting the motivation for things, because motivation doesn't really take you far. Motivation gives you a boost, but it won't get you far. Think of it as a sprint. You're in a marathon. Matter of fact, life is an ultra marathon. You really think a sprint at the beginning is going to get you from the starting line to the finish line? It's not. It's actually going to gas you out if all you're working on is sprints. Not everyone is going to be a David Goggins, a Sally McRae. You're not always going to be the first one to get to the finish line. But as long as you consistently move forward towards the finish line, you're bound to get to the finish line. It's an ultra marathon at the end of the day. It's not about speed always, but if you've worked long enough and gained enough experience to where you can do these high intensity stuff, yeah, guess what? They've been disciplined for 5-10 years. That's why they can go this hard. If you're starting from zero, maybe take things slower. We also don't want to risk, failures along the way, or you fucking up stuff. For example, injuries, right? Like, we don't want to risk that. Make sure that you just, once again, atomic habits, small improvements over time, so that you can keep up the consistency and build up your discipline. Discipline doesn't just happen to people. It doesn't just occur. That's something that you have to build on. You have to find a way to do something consistently. And once again, like I said at the very beginning, you don't get that through motivation. You get that through small enough, easy, simple changes that you start implementing into your lifestyle, that it makes it super easy to do on a consistent daily basis. Once you get that down, your brain starts forming itself. It starts this reframe, this reconstruction of the mind, that it tells the brain, hey, guess what? We're starting to make this improvement. We're starting to build our level of discipline. Let's keep this up. Let's keep going. And then the more you add on to it, the better that the brain becomes at maintaining that discipline. All you have to do is just make the actions consistently. It's the same thing with studying. You don't just get good at a subject because you are naturally gifted. You get good at the subject because you put in enough reps to where your brain figured out that, oh shit, we're actually good at this. Let's keep it up. And then the more you study, the more that your brain is like, okay, well, I like what this is doing for us. I like the knowledge that we're gaining. How about we keep studying? We might add more time onto our study sessions so that we could become better at studying. We might even change the systems that we implement when studying to make or to optimize our study sessions. And it's the same thing when it comes to self-improvement and habits. At first, you just need to make the change and put in the reps enough on a daily basis so that the brain can be like, okay, I like what we're doing. Let's keep this up. Let's shift the mindset from I'm a nobody in life to I'm a disciplined person. But even if it's small changes, it's better than nothing at the end of the day. And that is what I'm here to tell you. Forget about motivation. Forget about all that. What you need is discipline. And if you struggle with discipline, make small changes and build the mindset so that the mindset can tell you, hey, all you need to do is show up and show out, whether it's doing the 1% improvement, the 10% improvement, or the 100% improvement. It's improvement nonetheless. So yeah, guys, that's it. Stay blessed. Check out the newsletter linked in the description. The mastery reps. I promise you, you're gonna love it. Some of my best writing is done on there, and more often than not, it's small emails, very readable. They take probably less than 5 minutes, probably sometimes like 3 minutes to read, but they really get you thinking. And it's made so that not only does it motivate or inspire, but it also gives you pieces of advice. It's nuggets of self-improvement and self-mastery that you get to read on a weekly basis that I wish I had that whenever I was growing up. Somebody that would teach me these things, and yet I'm here giving it to y'all because I'm treating it more than anything for the people that were in my position, that were trying to figure out how their life should look like, but they just couldn't. They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't get shit done. And so yeah, the mastery reps, link down below, free newsletter. And yeah, that's it. Stay blessed. Check out the videos. Also, I don't know how many times I'm gonna upload like this, but it's just a new content style. You can tell me if you like it. You can tell me if you dislike it. Also, I'm open to advice, criticism, comments about maybe the way that the camera looks, the audio, the background. Just let me know. Also, if you have any questions on what you would like to hear about, if you would like me to answer any questions or anything that you have questions on that I could make a video on, let me know. Put in the comments. But yeah, for a third time, I want y'all to be blessed as hell. But yeah, stay blessed.